There is such a delay on this that it was live. I was live. You guys could see it. I got it. And thank you, Lori, for letting me know. Um, it's just apparently it's such a huge delay that, okay, that's not this one. Okay, there we go. Now, if I can't see, okay, Lori, if you're watching, please hit me up in the chat so that I can be sure I can see chat, because if I can't see the chat, I won't be able to read for anybody, so please do that for me and let me know. And y'all, please bear with me because it's been a long, long time since I've done this, number one. Number two, oh, wait a minute, I need a little more light here. Well, maybe not. And number two, so if you're out there, please give me a heads up that you're here. If you want a card, ask for a card and I'll put your name on the list. But I got to make sure the chat's working or I can't, there's no point in this because I won't know you've asked for a card if you don't let me know. But there is a delay too. So I'm not sure how long the delay is. See, I'm waiting all this time for someone to, this is not conducive to this. I don't know what in the world. Oh, well, I don't know if this is going to work, you guys, because yeah, I'm not sure this is going to work at all. I can't, there's no one chatting. There's nothing coming up in chat. Let me see. Wow, okay. Um, Well, okay, so for the three people that are watching, my name is Sheila Corona. Welcome to my channel, Corona Rising. However, Jordan Rayner said, what you doing over Christmas weekend and what you doing over New Year's weekend and happy year's weekend for 2026. Well, thank you, Jeraden. I guess I don't know what to say about that. Kind of interesting. Um, all right. Well, there are 4 of you watching. Here's the way this works. I haven't done this in quite some time, so if you would like for me to read for you, I'm going to share this real quick on my Facebook page. If you would like to have a card, just say, I'd like a card in the comments. At the moment, the only information that keeps coming up in the chat is Jeraden, who keeps putting the same thing over and over again. So I'm not quite sure. Hey, pal, I just got to share this with you. I don't plan that far ahead. I never have. I never will. I don't plan what I'm doing tomorrow, much less in 2026 or 2025 or anything like that. So what's next? You're going to ask me about 2024? I mean, that's a little closer, but at any rate, um, this is meant to be, like I said, a session where, well, what it used to be over on Corona Rising and on Conscious Conversation Central. Um, Folks would come in and ask for a card, and then I feel into your field. I just concentrate and feel into your field, and I just give what I get. Um, Kind of rainy. So thanks for asking, Jeraden. Um, Rainy and cold. Yeah. Asking me how the weather is. So, okay, there are 3 folks watching. If you don't want a card, that's fine. You're more than welcome to watch. However, if no one asks for a card, I did do okay, maybe we'll do an overall, probably. Jeraden's asking if I'll be on tomorrow morning. Oh, well, actually, no, not tomorrow. Not tomorrow. I have things to do tomorrow, so there will be no live tomorrow. I'll come back on Monday as long as the energies hold and I'm doing good. I never know, see, so I do what brings me the highest joy in each moment that presents itself. So, um what you doing now? This is it, Al. Trying to would you like a card, Drayden? If not, this is kind of a moot point. I'm not sure why you're here. So um I will, let's see. I do want to share some things while we're waiting for more folks to join if they do. Thanks. I appreciate it, Drayden. You have some good luck too. I wish this little thing wasn't there so I could see it better. Um I don't, it's kind of weird the way this is set up here. Let me see if I could do it that way. Yeah, there we go. That'll be better. Um, okay, so for those of you that have seen the last couple of lives that I've done, if anyone has, I'd like to share with you that, well, for one thing, um, I think I've had another timeline collapse or another timeline melding. I know I've switched into another me again. Um, but now I've been a sci-fi nut all my life. I mean, just all my life. I watched every Star Trek, every, all the Farscape, Babylon 5, Serenity, all of these things, right? The Expanse. I'm very, very, very into those things, right? Always have been. Even as a kid, I read Stranger in a Strange Land when I was 19, so unbeknownst to me somehow, and I do feel this has to do with timelines. Um, there are 2 Gene Roddenberry series that I'd never heard of before at all, ever. That's Andromeda and Earth Final Conflict. Now, what's so interesting about this is that when I found this and started speaking on it, 2 people that I know who aren't into sci-fi, who never really watched any sci-fi, um, remember these shows being on television. And they were both began in the 90s and finished roughly 2001, 2002. And uh, I just find it kind of interesting that someone who really wasn't into sci fi ever not only knew about these shows, but remembers them having been advertised and being on television. And that's far enough back that it would have had to be appointment television, right? Because I don't know, maybe the DVRs started coming out in the late 90s. I don't remember for certain. But it's kind of interesting for me that here, all of a sudden, they came into my field and I was nudged to begin watching them. And that nudge has grown into, I just binging as much as possible of Earth Final Conflict as I can. And right now, I've made it all the way to season 4. And this, first of all, the synchronicities with what they're speaking on in these and what is going on this earth at this moment is so profound to me. I mean, just the other day, it was made known, and I don't know if this is, partly conspiracy theory or what, but someone somewhere said something about how Jeffrey Epstein, apparently, um, his desire was to have his DNA in everyone, everywhere. Now, again, I don't know how true that is. I don't know if that's a fact or whatever, but not an hour and a half ago in that show, in season 4, they were talking about that very same thing. That very same thing with one of the characters in that show and his desire to have his DNA as widespread as he could. There's just so many synchronicities with this. Oh, hey. Oh, a spoiler alert. I know you're watching Earth Final Conflict now, Andrew, and I have to tell you, oh my gosh. And the other thing that, there's been several folks have talked about this. It is also talked about in this book, Handbook for the New Paradigm, that I'm recording and putting up on the channel and that we are studying. And in this book, it talks about how, when you hear the truth, your body tells you, right? And honestly, I have to say, this show is affecting me like none other. I've not ever had as much feeling about what I'm seeing. Now, if you have been following me for some time, Jeraden, I'm not sure why you're doing this, but if you continue and you're not interested in what we're doing here, I'm happy to, eject you from the channel if you like, but I'd rather not, you know, um, as I already answered your questions. So I'm not quite sure why you're doing that, unless you're just a bot, which could be too. At any rate, the thing of it is for me is, like I said, I have shared before that my internal guidance tells me that I am not a hybrid, but what I was told was tribrid, which is something I'd never heard anybody talk about, right? Now, I also know that I know internally that I'm I am part and parcel one of those who came to Earth and tinkered with humanity's DNA and that sort of thing. And I've had, I had that information come in way before I found the Jeshua channelings, which I will be uploading these again to this channel because, okay, I've I've had enough here. Hold on, you guys. I'm gonna take care of this little issue right here, right now. Okay, let's see. There we go. We won't see that anymore. At any rate, so there we go. Yes, in this book, they also talk about the fact that's where I had this confirmed for me. In the Jeshua channelings, which happened um, beginning, I believe it was 2000. Oh gosh, I used to have it right in the very forefront of my mind, but about the mid 2000s, right? Um, in here, it talks about the fact that star seeds, light workers, are beings that were part and parcel of coming here and doing this to humanity in the first place. And and according to the Jeshua channelings, when we have the only way to fix this was to come in, incarnate just like everybody else, and fix it through ourselves. Not gotta help you and all that kind of stuff like most light workers think. That's not what we're supposed to be doing. The way to do this is to get ourselves in hand, really, because we are all one and yet singular. So what I do internally for me affects the whole for everyone, right? And I honestly, between you and me and the wall over here, I personally feel as though that is the reason we're seeing things change. I saw an article recently that said something about how 2023 really sort of initiated something they were calling a wave of kindness. Now, I don't know what that actually means, or, but I can tell you that my own personal experience is that I haven't been I haven't encountered an awful lot of anger anymore. Now that could be because I'm not angry and I'm not upset, but, and we do create our own reality. So it could be that. But I also feel as though it's something that, is happening. So, um, at any rate, let's see. Let's go ahead and I'll get us started. Like I said, guys, I should have put it as a pin at the top. Let me go over here and see if I can pin that comment. This is an intuitive hangout session, and I am, let's see, did that pin? I don't think it did. Huh. And I am, offering to read for people. So if you want a card, just say I want a card, and I'll put your name on my list, and we'll get that going. So at the moment, I guess I'm going to do a collective energy card. And honestly, by the way, I'll take a card. All right, cool, Andrew. You're the first one, so I'll do a card for you. But actually, before I do your card, I'm really kind of curious, okay? Now, this is the fourth live I've done since I've come back and doing things, right? I did one day before yesterday, I did yesterday, and I did today. All 3 days, the same card came out of this deck. Number 24, Resplendent with Grace, which for me is all about relaxing into oneself. and allowing, surrendering to the knowledge that I do know who I am and that everything will be revealed in due time, right? And so that's the first time ever that I've had that happen. I've had the same card come out 2 days in a row before, but never three. Okay, good. It didn't come out this time. Whirling Goddess came out this time, card number 30. And that's numerologically. Let me see. I do need that light on. Let's see. Not for me so much, but for the cards. Numerologically, that's a 3. Now, for me, that's the Trinity. That is what we're doing, in my estimation, is we are moving from a duality type situation into a triality type situation, where things are no longer true or false, good or bad. It is, and it really always has been, in my estimation, and right. And I think that's because we didn't have the capacity, or I'll just say it like this, I didn't have the capacity to see it in any other way except for the programmed, conditioned way of, well, if it's true, it can't be true and false, right? However, I don't think that's the case. And so it sort of goes along with that. So what I did when I pulled this collective card here, what I was asking was for the energy, uh, show me the energy of right now collectively, right? And I really did want to know. Okay, so lose your head. Not a single thread that has a head can go through the eye of the needle. And that's a synchronicity too, because that's something that came up in our book study yesterday in the new handbook for the new paradigm. Uh, we read one of the sessions where it talked about a saying on Earth that, it's easier for, I think, what is it, a poor man to get into heaven, or so, fitting a camel through the eye of a needle, something like that. At any rate, Andrew said, Astro Garden said, I always try to break Hegelian dialectic, always choose a different path. Yeah, that's, I love that. Um, and so, lose your head. Not a single thread that has a head can go through the eye of the needle. Rumi. Come, my love. Are you dizzy yet? If you can still find your feet, then it is okay with me. But if you can still find your head, then I shall take issue. There is a great dance, but it cannot be danced with choreographed steps. No, this great dance demands a response rather than an initiation, a reaction rather than a direction. So let us disassemble and lose our heads to the great music, the rhythm held steady in our beating hearts. Our feet shall be moving whilst our minds, inadequate to the task, take the night off. There is somewhere you are meant to be. It is here, now, in this moment. There is a gift right under your nose, and fragrant wine in your glass, gleaming red as the most precious rubies. To be here now, you must pass through the keyhole. But your head will tell you this is not possible unless the door is unlocked. Even though your body is passing through the keyhole of that locked door into the endless world beyond. Leave your mind to be in its struggles for a moment. Personally, I want to say, I feel as though what this is describing and what's coming for me about this is our programming and conditioning. I mean, personally, there is so much that we are learning that has been lies or half truths or, those sorts of things. So that's what I take this to mean. Leave all of that behind and allow the universe to reveal to us what it is that we are to know. Without you laying witness to it, your mind will become like the dog howling for his master's return, even as he steps out the front door. Frustrated temporarily, he will chew on some shoes, then fall asleep peacefully until his master returns. So leave your mind trusting, chewing a little, until you are truly through the keyhole, when it can rest. Leave it be. Instead, come dance with me. This oracle brings you a message. You are at the point of growth where your mind can hold you back rather than urge you forward. If you have, like so many, used your mind to support you, to shore up your sense of self in the world, and to gain a sense of certainty about how the world works, then this is no easy leap. And I know that that's so. When I first started this journey, I just wanted my friends to just come on, just tell me what you know. Just tell me what you know, and we'll, that's all I need for you to do is tell me what you know. But that's not how this works. One has to experience surrender. This has been my experience so far. I had to surrender and follow all my nudges in order for mm, more to come, right? More of that intuitive thought to come. This oracle brings you a message. You are at the point of growth where your mind can hold you back. Oh, I read that. I lost my place. I do that sometimes. Rather than urge you forward. If your sense of self in the world no, if you have, like so many, used your mind to support you, to shore up your sense of self in the world, and to gain a sense of certainty about how the world works, then this is no easy leap. It will seem as though you are being asked to pass through the keyhole. Of course, your mind will stop and argue for all the reasons why the door should be opened instead of remaining closed, making the task seem so much harder than it needs to be. But this is the mind in resistance. And boy, oh boy, I've had a lot of issue with that. Arguing with my intuition. No, that's not right. Only to find, oh, yes, it was. um, don't place too much stock in the claims that life should be other than it is. You are being asked to dance rather than understand, to lay the thoughts to rest and to come alive. It is the bravest, most trusting soul that dares to put the mind to one side and say, tonight we dance. My heart and I, in the great rousing music of the beloved's beating heart. And I will not miss one step, and to awaken the next day and do it all over again and again and again. You are ready, you see, sweet soul dancer. You are ready to live beyond what you know, to have it not matter if you don't understand how life can work itself out, or how it could be that someone so normal and ordinary as you and I could also be so magnificent, wild, and divine. The need for answers and plans, assurances, and explanations is passing out of your world now. Boy, it really has for me. Yep, it really has for me, gotta say. not so terribly interested in what's going on over here or what's happening over there or what are we going to do about this, because quite frankly, especially in today's world, it seems as though, especially with the advent of AI and deep fakes and all of these sorts of things, unless it's happening right here, and quite frankly, after watching after watching Earth Final Conflict, I'm not even so sure that I would believe that, to be honest with you. So, that's a real thing. Oh, hey, my sister's in the house. Hey, sis, your hair looks great. I'll take a card for fun. Well, Teresa, I will put you on the list. And thank you for that. It's only due to your tutelage that my hair looks the way it does, as I have really perfected getting it scrunched now. So thank you for that. My sister is a master cosmetologist and has always been the holograms freak me out. Yeah, see, that's what I mean. I just there's so much going on these days. So back to our reading here. Um, the need for answers and plans, assurances and explanations is passing out of your world now. You are not to wait for permission, for explanation, or even another dance partner, for I am already inviting you onto the great dance floor. You are to let go of any stigma around not knowing. When someone asks you what you're going to do next or how you're going to manage, you are given this divine mandate with relish. Reveal the truth. I don't know. And I'm laughing because of Jeraden, the all of those. I don't know if you were here for that, Teresa, but I had that somebody came in and kept asking what I was going to do in 2025 and 2026 and all of this sort of thing. I don't know what I'm going to do 5 minutes from now. So, I mean, and that's just the God's honest right there. Know nothing and dance, sweet soul, for all will unveil itself to you in perfect harmony and timing. Your heart shall create the steps in response to the music of the spheres happening now, alive and spontaneous and free. This oracle brings you a special message. If there is an issue apparently unsolvable or unknowable in your life now, the divine is handling it. The divine is in the middle of it, working through the knot and unraveling it. Fear not. uh, give yourself permission to take the night off from worry. Wow, I love that because the truth of the matter is, for me now, and of course I get it, I have, quite a bit of hindsight that I can look at, uh, you know, but I see now where things that I had adjudged in one way in my past as horrific, and oh, I never would have signed up for that, and those sorts of things, I can see now for myself where, oh, yes, yes, I did sign up for all of that because all that has gone before has gone into the makeup of who I am now. All of it. Were any of that missing, I would be completely different. And so I also, that's what it feels to me. Teresa said, to master just being is the greatest thing I've ever learned. Yes, and you know what? It's not really easy to master that, is it? And or at least it hasn't been for me. Okay, Andrew, I'm going to feel into your field now. So bear with me just a few moments. The minute I started feeling into your field, I want to rock back and forth. Now, that has usually meant to me that there's something new beginning in your field that, well, and see, I know, I guess that's kind of unfair because of our conversation the other day. I do know that you are in the midst of doing some new things, but this actually, there's more to it than that. This is an energetic newness as well that I'm feeling. Um, mm, oh, okay. You also shared something with me in regards to health, and I'm kind of getting this feeling that part of the new I'm feeling has to do with that and something new energetically about that. What is, I'm not quite sure. I'm not getting exactly what that means. Um, so we'll see. Let's see what comes out in the cards. So, what cards want to come out for Andrew? Which deck? For some reason, I actually put my hand right on the fairies. Is this the one? Yes. The fairies oracle wants to come out for you. I don't know if they just really want to play or if they wanted to come out because I got a message earlier today that that they really miss. Well, I think all of my cards that I used to use quite a lot have been missing me because I haven't even done this for myself. You understand it, Andrew? Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing that with me. By the way, I want to say this to everyone too. Andrew is, they want to Andrew is the administrator for the Oracle Report on Facebook group, and he also handles some chart work on oraclereport.com. And I highly recommend that if you're at all interested in your own blueprint, okay, um, Andrew can run a chart for you and give you some information, some really great information. And he is also working on a little booklet that will eventually go out to all who have done that. And you can get in touch with Andrew by going to oraclereport.com and click on the data tab, and you can order for a very nominal fee. Andrew, what is it nowadays? I don't know. I don't want to give out the wrong dollar amount, but it's not much. It's really not much. And he'll email that to you directly. Um, and you can also, I highly recommend his blog. Go to astrogardens.com and sign up for his free email list there so that you can, whenever he publishes his blog, it will come right to your email box free of charge. Gloominous Doom came out for you. Old Gloominous Doom, card number 56. Now, that's an 11 numerologically, and which is a master number. Let's see what old Gloominous Doom has for you, Andrew. Let's see. Here we go. Oh, wow. And the book opened right to it. I started flipping and it opened right to it. So that's kind of interesting. Here is some key words for these: self-defeat, self-pity, self-destruction, and taking care of ourselves. Self-pity is the first step on the slippery, seductive slide toward self-destruction. Much of what I've said about the Soul Shrinker card, which is a card right before this, applies to Gloominous Doom. So please read about the Soul Shrinker first. Okay, so we're going to go over here We're going to follow the directions in the book and we're going to read about the soul shrinker. Oh, wow. Andrew, my goodness. This is card 55. And fives are all about change. The soul shrinker, that's not this card, but it tells us to read this first. And it says cruelty, malice, gossip, curses, destruction, and blessing. The distasteful task of the soul shrinker is to observe what we say to and about others, especially the mean, nasty, and unnecessarily critical things. By observing our behavior this way, he reflects it back to us, making us more aware of it. This is a bodhisattva, a spiritual being devoted to helping to bring about the enlightenment of all. Uh, this is a bodhisattva type of job, and it requires great compassion, understanding, and forgiveness if the soul shrinker himself is not to be dragged down to our level. If we are just inwardly spluttering, looking for words, he may even suggest to us the words that express our feelings and energy. Then it is our choice, our test, whether or not we say them. There are two important things about malicious gossip, unnecessary criticism, verbal cruelty, sarcasm, and scoring off of others. One is that it demeans the speaker, makes him less, makes his aura darker, and encourages the behavior as a habit, continually eroding the brightness and potential goodness of the speaker. The other important thing is that this is a way that we actually curse others. Even if the recipient doesn't hear the actual words of the blessing or curse, even if the words are not spoken aloud, they are carried as discordant notes through ecstasis, which is another card in this deck. Ecstasis, song of the universe to the recipient. Fortunately, that is not all there is to it, or such behavior would be unforgivably wicked. Not that it isn't pretty nearly that anyway. We all have a choice about whether we accept curses or blessings. If we choose not to accept it, then all of the energy boomerangs back to the sender, who then gets a well-deserved double dose of it. Once, long ago, the soul shrinker was very beautiful, but listening to and witnessing all of this human ugliness has rubbed off on his appearance, like that of a lovely frog in a polluted pool with his skin raw and forming hideous growths. His heart is compassionate and anguished. His heartfelt wish is that we learn, quote, right speech and right thought. Every wicked thing a human says makes the soul shrinker more ugly. Every time a human learns this lesson, the soul shrinker becomes a bit less ugly. As you can see, humanity as a whole has a lot of work to do on this. Critical and malicious thoughts and words are having a detrimental effect on the situation and the people involved in it. Steps need to be taken to banish this curse energy through love and compassion, or at the very least, through forgiveness and a refusal to accept the curse into oneself. Understanding the implications of this and transforming the behavior and feelings involved is a major and often very difficult step in human spiritual development. One of the things usually involved here is taking responsibility for ourselves and our own feelings rather than blaming others for the way we are. Another part of this process is to learn to be compassionate toward ourselves. If we can do that, it is much easier not to be horrible to and about others. This doesn't mean that we are supposed to be all sweetness and light all the time. Constructive criticism given compassionately is a part of being real, and reality is a good thing to be in touch with. Well, throughout my reading of that, I was reminded of what I'm learning through the Handbook for the New Paradigm, volumes 1, 2, and 3. Now, almost every spiritual bent out there talks about how we create our own reality, how thoughts and words and deeds become things. Well, what I'm learning in this book is that actually thought thinks within itself. And that makes a lot of sense. And then once we give energy to that thought, then it goes out there. And I feel like that's what this is speaking on here. So now we're going to read Old Glooming Doom here. Self-defeat, self-pity, self-destruction, taking care of ourselves are the key words. And I'm going to skip down here to where it told us to go to the soul shrinker. It may seem odd to have such a seemingly lightweight challenger as Glooming Doom right next to the soul shrinker, but they are the closest of cousins. The soul shrinker observes the way we curse others through energy and attitude. Glooming Doom observes the way we curse ourselves. In a way, thought, thought, the part of ourselves that he witnesses, is worse than what the soul shrinker sees. When we curse others through sending the energy of malice and ill will toward them, they may reject our sendings. However, when we curse ourselves through self-pity and self-destructive attitudes, there is little, if any, resistance, and the curse takes immediate effect and continues to act until we change our attitudes. It's interesting, isn't it, how we can see at once that the soul shrinker is ugly, but Glooming Doom has a certain charm and a kind of weird attractiveness. We feel sorry for him. He looks so pitiful. And there is another side to him that one Oracle group participant sees. I feel that Glooming Doom is underrated as a helper. He can be there for you when no one else wants to know. The state of self-pity, when all seems terrible and the world is against you, is an important part of the process. We all get down sometimes. We could say that we even need to compare it with when we feel good. Glooming Doom is ready and willing to help us explore just how awful it all feels, just how bad it is, and how hard done by we feel, and what has made us feel like that in the first place. It is very important to really get to know these feelings, how how can you possibly let go of them if you don't properly know them in the first place? That's one of the reasons I know for myself, I have to feel these feelings all the way through. Suppressing or trying to oppress feelings doesn't work. It actually makes them worse for me. So, that's at the bottom of why I say that. Our feelings need to be fully acknowledged and understood, or we just tuck them away and hide them from sight until they reappear again, maybe in a different guise. Luminous doom helps us properly explore our gloomy feelings of doom so that we can be done with them. It is a very important job. The ultimate test here, of course, is to take responsibility for ourselves and our attitudes and to choose a path that is life affirming, not life denying. The sorrier we feel for ourselves, the worse our life becomes. Reread that last sentence. Okay. The sorrier we feel for ourselves, the worse our life becomes. It is not the other way around. Self pity makes things worse, and we have a choice. One we have every moment as to whether we want to make our lives better or worse. And only we can choose that for ourselves. Now, I don't know exactly what that's referring to for you, Andrew. I am aware of, we had our conversation the other day, and I feel it could be relating to some of what I know that you go through, right? With the, mainstream media as secondhand smoke kind of feel. That's what it's making me think of there. And let's see what Andrew said. Oh yes, thank you for telling me. He said $10 for a natal chart, $15 for a New Year forecast too. Oh, hey, I'll be hitting you up as soon as I get my check, pal. Oh, I love that. Hey, and then we need to do a recording about it so that everybody can see exactly what you get. $5 for astrocartography. And you say, what did you say about them? I'm not sure. I think I need to do the great dance with them. Words are things. Did we not talk about this? Yes, we did. The song of the dance tonight is Junebug by the B-52s. Okay. Oh, for heaven's sakes, why is that doing that? I don't want that. I need to be able to see. There we go. I think I can dance with Luminous Doom for a while. Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear that. And so everybody do know that Andrew and I are going to be doing some things together coming up here. That's one of the things that we talked about. Uh, so we're going to be doing quite a few things, I think, aren't we, Andrew? Some information about different things. I was talking about hanging with the fairies. Oh, yes. Okay. Well, and there was somebody else that came to my live this morning. I got a message for him that the elementals really, really, really are excited about what he's been doing. Okay, Teresa, you are next. Now, did I miss anybody? Was there anyone else that wanted a card that nope. Okay. I see Teresa was the last one to ask for a card, so all right, Teresa, let me just feel into your field for just a moment. Wow. Okay. So this is interesting. I have this feeling of being pulled over to my left. Now, the last time this happened, I found out that the person I was in their field was lying on their left side. Now, I don't know if that's the case at the moment or what, but I'm just saying I feel like my body is being pulled over to the left. Oh, and Teresa, I want to ask you. Oh, no, that won't work because you are a smoker. Of course, you smell smoke. I have been smelling smoke, active, not old, stale, but active cigarette smoke around me for the last 2 days. Um, Pretty strongly at times, like someone standing right outside my window smoking. This has happened a couple of times, and I know there's not. The neighbors over next door don't smoke, and they haven't had any company or anything like that. And it's been happening your silly Indian style as usual. Okay. Well, I don't know what that means then. Okay, so I'm not quite sure. Yeah, okay. Well, maybe you're receiving, see, I receive new energy, new data, new information through my left. So perhaps that's what it is. I'm not real clear. Well, the minute I stepped into your field too, I noticed an uptick in my like how shall I say it, like the pressure that moves from, you know, around the heart area into the, it was almost like I thought I was going to have a bit of a headache. Like just but it backed off really quick. So I'm not quite sure what that means. You probably noticed, and I'm just been in your field because I've been thinking of you. Oh, okay. All right. All right. Well, maybe that's it, Teresa, because I really, I don't know. I asked if it was someone, like mom or, but she had quit smoking before she died, to make themselves known to me, and I haven't gotten anything about that. Okay, so, oh, all right. Uh, let's see. The Sacred Forest wanted to come out for you, Teresa. The Sacred Forest Oracle. It's one of my favorite decks too. Well, turnabout is fair play because I've been thinking about you too. I would like to come for a visit, but of course the weather's been kind of, funky, and I'm not sure about, because I don't know how to drive in ice and snow and all of that, and it's been really cold and rainy here. I wouldn't be able to do it until closer to the end of the month anyway, but I have been thinking a lot about you. Oh, that one wanted to come out. Oh, wow. Elves and playfulness. Card number 15. That's a six numerologically. So it's all about love, harmony, and balance. And oh, I love that. Um, well, I really feel as though you and I both have lightened up so much that and embracing the playfulness again, um, the inner child, right? I know that's true for myself, and I sense it about you. When we were together the last time, I felt it as though, like I said, it was closer to when we were kids. You just come whenever it feels right. Well, thank you. No worries. I'm just doing a little daily routine that's been important to me. Oh, yay. Okay, so here's what the book has to say. The elves have invited you to dance with them under the stars and moonlight. The music begins and you twirl and leap with glee. Well, the card, the overall card for this, you know, little play we're having tonight was the Whirling Goddess, in case you weren't here for that. And that was all about play as well, dancing actually. So the elves have invited you to dance with them under the stars and moonlight. The music begins, and you twirl and leap with glee. Elves and fairies dance around you, and the wild spirit of the night fills you. All inhibitions dissolve, and you giggle with delight as the spirit of playfulness embraces you. Allow your inner child to play. Embrace your innocence. If you have been taking life too seriously, this card reminds you to lighten up. Oh God, I can't even say you and I are both lightened up. That's awesome. All that is required of you is to enjoy yourself. If your responsibilities and hard work have clogged your life force energy, it's time to give yourself a break and have some fun. Nurture your spirit by doing something unexpected, madcap, or even silly. The greatest gift that you can give the world is your joy. So make play a priority. Like fairies, elves are diminutive beings that live in the forest, meadows, and hollowed out tree trunks. There are accounts of elves throughout history and in every country in the world. Many people attest to having seen them playing in the woods. In some traditions, they are thought to be gleeful tricksters with a reputation for pranks and mischief. Allow this joyous energy into your day now. The spirit of the elves says, embrace your innocence, let go of heavy responsibilities, give yourself a break, nurture your spirit by doing something fun. Joy is as important for sustaining yourself as the food you eat. Boy, I think that's true. I'm sure you do. I'm sure you feel that too, Teresa. Thank you so much for asking for a card. Well, golly, this has been a really short hangout. I don't think anybody else has asked for a card, have they? Nope, it doesn't seem so. So there are still 5 of you out there. If anybody wants a card, uh, put your name in there. And wow, this will probably be the shortest one I've ever done, if that's the case. Well, I'll go back to telling you what I'm hoping that we're going to be doing here pretty soon. For those of you that aren't aware, I'm also participating in another YouTube channel, New Light Streaming Love. You can visit the website, and that's KNEW. You can visit the website at New Light Streaming Love, newlightstreaming.love. Who knew you could have a website that's not a .com but .love? When we found that out, oh, we had to have it. So you can find out all about newlightstreaming.love by going there. We are on YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, TikTok, Rumble, Instagram, and on X, we are New Light Team. Um, Also, my channel is Sassy Seer Sheila, and I also have Conscious Conversation Central over on YouTube. I mean, Rumble, not YouTube. It's on Rumble. So that is where most of the conversations that do not have anything to do with astrology will be done with Andrew, probably on Conscious Conversation Central. So you might want to car feels completely in alignment. Oh, the card feels completely in alignment. Okay, awesome. Um, so yeah, if make sure to go to Rumble and search for Conscious Conversation Central and sign up over there to be notified. Not done a lot over there. As a matter of fact, I thought I had synced the channels so that everything over here would post over there, but I found out yesterday that that is not the case. So, and I will be, like I said before, I'm also going to be re-uploading because I already read this book. Now, of course, it's going to say, welcome to my channel, Corona Rising, which is no more. But I have all the videos from when I recorded this book. I got permission from the author to record this book and put it up for your perusal, should you like. It is also available freely, the channelings. It's called the Jeshua Channelings. And I have to tell you, this has been one of the most validating books of what I have always thought to be true about Christ that I've ever read. And it is this book that actually says that, the light workers here on earth, it seems to me like a lot of us have this misnomer that we've come here to save earth and to save the people. Mm-mm. No, We've come here to get ourselves in order. That is the way to save, right? If indeed thought thinks within itself, and if we really are all one and yet singular in nature, the only thing that separates you from me is your body that you reside in right now and all of your experiences that you've had over the course of your lifetime. That's really the only thing that differentiates us. Once we, I suspect, I have no proof of this, but I suspect that once we drop this vessel, we actually return to the one, so to speak. So, this will be coming down the pike as well. It will also be released over on New Light Streaming Love in a little bit of a different fashion, but it will be there as well. So nobody else wants a card, hey? Okay, well, I guess that's the end of this intuitive hangout session. I really appreciate everybody coming. And like I said, if you find yourself interested in, you know, and I have to say, on the lines of getting one, the truth of the matter is those of us who would count themselves as star seeds, like I do, or light workers, which I don't particularly care for. I took to calling myself a dark worker for a while because I was really trying to find the darkness within myself and, you know, whole it, right? So, but we come in here through a veil of forgetfulness, if you will, and we don't know who we are. Most of us don't know who we are. And then we go through this programming and conditioning from our parents that has always, all of us have varying levels of that, that tells us not to trust ourselves, because not that somebody sat down and said, don't trust yourself, but just when I think back to how I raised my own child, I can see where it instills this inherent thing about not being able to trust self, right? I shared this morning my experience with the whole fairies thing, the fact that I was called a liar, that I was told over and over and over and over and over again that that's not true. You're making it up. I knew what I was seeing. I knew I'd played with fairies, but after a while of being, hit, being in trouble, all these kinds of things, you eventually shut all that stuff down and you don't trust yourself. Now, a lot of us may have gone through things like that and don't even remember how that happened, right? So for me, getting to know who I am, there's lots of ways to do that, and they're freely available on the internet. Uh, you know, Looking into your astrology. Yeah, you're not an astrologer, but you can read. Everybody, has the ability to Google, what does this mean? That's the only way I've done it for myself. I can't afford an astrologer. Oh my gosh, but I've always wanted, and someday I will have a reading by Laura Walker. You can best believe that is going to happen. Um, but so I started looking into my astrology and teaching myself about that. I looked into human design when I found out about that, and oh my gosh, that explains so much about me. Oh, that's just so much. There's the Enneagram, there's personality stuff you can look at. There's just all kinds of things because as we come to this planet, especially with the astrology, the moment you are born, a snapshot of the energy that was to affect the being that's born. That's what astrology is a blueprint, and it can help you know more about yourself. I also offer, I do it. I don't charge for anything. If it's something that you're interested in, I do it on a donation basis, a love offering basis, called the invisible garment. And all of these things that can be done to give you insight into who you actually are and what did you have in mind for coming here. And quite frankly, waking up every day at X amount of time and going to work and working all day and coming home, that is not what you came here for. It's what we think we're supposed to do because, again, that programming and conditioning, and that's the way but all of that is just a distraction to keep us from figuring out what it is we're here for and who and what we are. And we are so much more than we ever allowed ourselves to dream that we are. So thanks for showing up, guys. I am back and I won't be here tomorrow because I have a family thing at 2 p.m. Eastern, but I will be here on Monday as long as the energy allows to do a daily reading again. I'm gonna get back to it because I've missed it. I miss you guys. You can look forward to some conscious conversations coming up, some DIY ascension coming up. Lisa and I have quite a lot to share that's been going on over the last little bit here. And so thank you guys for coming. I hope that you will continue to move towards that which brings you joy in each moment that presents itself, because it really is a matter of perspective. And there's always more than one way to see something. And generally, even when it's a bad something, there's another way, at least another option that may be a little more joyful than the one you immediately think of. So, be well, my friends, until next time, until we meet again.